Welcome, fellow anime addicts. Thanks for checking out the show. I don't have much to sell you today, no Japanese snack boxes or underwear subscription services. I just want to bring to your attention the AAAPodcast.com website. It's absolutely free, and not only the place to find this show, but our future episodes as well, so you'll know what shows to watch before listening. We also have a ton of past episodes, including a database of our past review scores, as well as links to the YouTube videos that contain them. If you want to get involved, we have a whole mailbag section for you to submit topics, questions, and ideas, as well as links to the absolutely free Discord where we hang out and have a grand old time. And finally, if you're so inclined, where you can support us with our Hobby Addicts, where we talk about all the movies, video games, and non-anime television shows we watch. The after parties, where we hang out, talk about food, and go on weird rants. And finally, the hentai episodes, which contain things that I can't talk about right now. All this and more can be found at the AAAPodcast.com website, so go check it out. Now, time for the show.
何よ、アニメアディクツアノニマスのライブブロードキャストやってるって言ってるでしょ。聞きなさいよね。You are listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at AAAPodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Dang, that's a big old number of the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. My name is Mason, and I am here today with two good friends to make your anime addiction worse, coming off of the heels of a gigantic war against all of nature. We've got Caroline. How you doing?
Hello.
You're very snuggly.
I am very snuggly. I'm wearing a thick sweatshirt because it is the chilliest Memorial Day weekend we've had in a while. Yes, I am at war with nature at the moment, growing a garden, but the animals love it just as much as me, so.
Who will win? Place your bets now. Caroline v. Deer.
I am ready to throw down a deer.
And we have Andrew. Andrew, who are you wearing today?
I'm doing crime in a pastime by being a revolutionary Gundam pilot.
Oh, very nice.
So
very
I'm wearing Uniqlo.
Ooh, that's high fashion. And,
True.
Yeah, we're here today. We're live, as we always are, on Twitch and YouTube. Hopefully it's running a little bit better than last week. My computer was just waking up from its nap, and I think that chunked it a bit. So hopefully we're running buttery smooth. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all who joined our Discord. That's the place to be for all the interactions, as well as the links, which you can also find at our website, AAAPodcast.com. To our listeners' choice, remember that vote is still up that determines what shows we are reviewing from the spring season. Please go there, put in your input. We really want to know what you want us to review, as well as the Family Feud vote. I haven't been told it's closed, so I'm going to just keep on doing that.
Yeah, it's still technically open, so.
Okay, well then we'll keep on doing that. I'm going to ramp my mic up just a bit because Twitch said I was low, and with that, I think we are just going to keep on ramming into this show because I think we got a lot of fun stuff this week between becoming vacation planners, inspired, I think, no doubt, by my recent trip to Paris. We're going to be talking about, if we had to arrange what you would do on a vacation in a specific anime, what would you recommend? As well as a review of Sakamoto Days. So let's just get right into it with big news of the week.
おー、大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
Caroline, why don't you lead us off? Because I think yours is much larger in impact than mine.
Right, well, originally I was not going to talk about anything today, but then I realized, the Crunchyroll Awards literally just happened. Like, I guess early this morning or late last night or something. So, this year's Crunchyroll Anime Awards have been given out the results. And just a reminder on how they do their eligibility. quote unquote, a majority of the season aired on television or online in Japan between October 1st, 2023 and December 31st, 2024, at least in part, those shows are eligible. And quote unquote, moving forward, the eligibility period will extend from January 1st to December 31st, which is a little more normal. Because so far, like with the eligibility currently, it's just not normal. But just to go over some of the standouts from the results, Solo Leveling led the race, winning 9 awards, including Anime of the Year, Best New Series, Best Action, Best Main Character, Best Score, Best Ending Sequence, and Best Voice Artist Performances for Brazilian Portuguese, Castilian Spanish, and English. And by the way, this is Solo Leveling Season 1, because that's what was eligible. Season 2 will probably carry next year's award season. What are your thoughts, guys?
Man, I wish I could say, oh, I haven't seen much of Season 2, so I can't, while I have my doubts, I really can't say I've seen it. But this is Season 1, folks. This is Season 1. I would argue that most people didn't know that. I think they're just like, oh, I really like Season 2 of Solo Leveling. I'm just going to vote for this right now and vote for a 2023 show to win our 2024 awards in 2025.
Honestly, I mean, I feel like it's only natural for somebody to carry opinions about a show based on what you've seen most recently of it. So I can't fault them too much for that. They're not going to distinguish Season 1 and Season 2 in this case, even though we wish they would.
I'm not surprised Solo Leveling won. I think, honestly, Season 1 is probably a stronger season than Season 2 in the most part. And I think a lot of people really enjoy the show, and I think they just want... I think they're also probably using this as a stepping stone to get their other webtoons, to show that there's love for webtoons, and probably to get other webtoons adapted, which is slowly starting to happen. So I think this just gets like a lot of bias based off of that. I would equate Solo Leveling to Attack on Titan in a lot of ways. Not for maybe the reasons that you would think. I would say that it is a show that is what a lot of people perceive to be different from what they consider current anime thoroughfare. And so it gets a lot of brownie points for being different, quote unquote, from a lot of other anime. And so people have glommed onto it a lot more than any other of the other things that come out then. And not to say that Attack on Titan is bad. It definitely wasn't as great as everyone said it was. I will die on that hill. But I will say that there were probably, and there were actually I say probably, there were definitely better shows out there. But I think, like it was discussed in the Discord server, the regular one, I don't think the private one, but I think it was discussed, right? But at the end of the day, this is just a popularity contest. And more often than not, the shonen shows, no hate against shonen, are going to do better at the Crunchyroll Awards more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
Both you comparing Solo Leveling to Attack on Titan and Solo Leveling winning 9 awards, I want to say like, oh, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. No, I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm pissed off, and they can't get away with it. This show is not that good. I think we all know that deep down in our bones. It's not. It's not. It's not Anime of the Year. It's not the best new series. It's none of those things. This show should have won, but I'm in the minority, or whatever. I guess I'm too flustered. I'm too brain fried by this happening.
What is your Anime of the Year, Mason?
Let's go over.
Let's talk. Any other show would have beaten it.
Let me go over the other nominees for Anime of the Year. There was Dawn to Dawn, Free Ren, Delicious in Dungeon, Kaiju Number 8, and The Apothecary Diaries, all against Solo Leveling. And I'm kind of shocked that Dawn to Dawn and Free Ren absolutely should have taken it over Solo Leveling.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I cannot speak to the Castilian Spanish. Like, maybe it was.
Yeah,
really
we can't.
Like, not
I'm
gonna
pretty sure
sit
there's
on
just a
some high
difference
horse
in
of ignorance.
nominees. Yeah.
But no.
That's such an arbitrary award. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just like, that's so arbitrary, but sure.
But
I'm all for
look at
voice
this. This is
acting
interesting.
getting their
All
day in the sun.
sorry, go ahead.
No, go. You got it.
All the nominees for Best New Series are the same nominees for Anime of the Year. All of them, the same.
Actually, that's actually not terrible. It goes to show that at least new stuff is coming out.
I guess.
And I assume when they say new series, they're not counting things like
Sequels.
well, not just sequels, but things that are spin-offs or whatnot, right? Like I
Yeah.
assume that's what they mean by new series. And then because like Anime of the Year, I'm pretty sure next year if they put Solo Leveling season 2 in best new series and in Anime of the Year, then you're just kind of like, okay guys, what is this process?
Yeah.
Who's paying you? Like, you know,
It's the
like
collusion. I guess we all know, or I think we all agree, not what we would go with. Next year, Solo
No,
Leveling
totally
season
not.
2 no doubt will be nominated. Do you think it does this well?
I don't know. It could be that the hype ran its course at that point.
Um, I think it'll probably get things like it'll probably get best action again, probably.
Like in the best
And
action category, the nominees against it were not that. Like I'm not that surprised that it won against the nominees in that category.
no, neither am I. I'm just saying I'm pretty sure it's gonna probably get awards like that again. I think because of was it Jujutsu Kaisen? They're sort of trying not to have repeat winners, if I remember correctly. I don't remember if it was because of Jujutsu Kaisen or if it was some other series. But I remember that was like a whole thing about like
Kerfuffle on
how
why
are
they
you guys
changed
deciding the eligibility?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the
You
day,
know?
this just proves why having a jury to filter out proper winners is an important thing. Like going to a award show that is purely popularity based yields disappointment to me personally, because I'm not cool
Except
like you.
for the AAA Anime Oscars, which are voted on by lovely listeners like yourselves.
Yeah, but even then we don't filter that, and
I mean, obviously, I'm being facetious here, but it is something like, you know, I think you're maybe more alluding to something like the R Anime Awards, which does,
for example,
do a jury curated list, but it does allow for, I think there is a voting element, and then there's the jury decision, right?
There's a public vote and there's a jury vote, and you get a sense of how things go. And I think the ability, most importantly, I guess what I value in the award show is the write-ups. Why did this show do so well? And I guarantee you, if we ask the thousands of people that voted for Solo Leveling, why did you vote for it as the best main character?
Okay, we need to talk about that.
You're not getting much besides, oh, he's strong. And
Hell yeah.
cool.
Let's go over who Sung Jinwoo, one of the blandest main characters ever. For a reason, perhaps. He wasn't always bland, but he became the blandest because he's so OP. Let's see who he won against. We got Frieren, Mao Mao from Apothecary Diaries, Momo from Dandadan, Okarun from Dandadan, Kafka Hibino from
Kaiju number 8.
Kaiju number 8.
Same Anime of the Year shows.
But that's not the problem. It's like Mao Mao, Momo, and Okarun. I cannot fathom that. Cannot fathom.
I just don't think as many people have watched Dandadan. They'll probably do better next year as awards with season 2, I think, or part 2 or core 2 or whatever coming out later this year, I think. I think they'll probably do a lot better. I think Kaiju 8 number 8. But this is just a thing with award shows. Like you see it with the Oscars or whatnot. There are like the hit movie or the hit show that's going to get like a ton of awards and is going to win most of the awards. And usually it's when you have like crushing presidents like this that feel more fueled by quote unquote maybe not as the best decisions. They tend to overcorrect in the subsequent year before it goes back to this. Like, I think this is next year will probably be more varied based off of if there was even any backlash to this. I don't even think there was any backlash to this, but I think next year might be more varied if there was backlash to this, and then it'll happen again in like 2 or 3 years after that, and you'll see the same thing with the new hit anime. But yeah, I feel like most of this stuff. Like, what is it? Don was probably in a lot of categories. Frieren was in a lot of categories. Solo Leveling was a lot of categories. You know, and you're only going to find originality in things where they couldn't be put into, like best romance, best what is it? Film of the year, best original anime, things that they could probably not fit into. So you're going to definitely see that a lot. But I'm not. Hold on, I'm just curious about, like, as a music boy. What are your thoughts on it winning best score, Mason?
I mean, it's been so long since I've seen season 1, and it was so forgettable that
It's Hiroyuki Sawano. I mean, it's a fine score.
Fine, but it's Sawano soundtrack. Like, it sounds just like everything else he's done, and it's.
Oh, then I changed my opinion. I didn't know it was Sawano. Sawano's fucking great. He wins always. Period.
But even then, like, no, like, I guess I'm just cynical at this point. Crunchyroll continues to get all this money and branding and name recognition and just funnels it into just the most disappointing and pompous award shows that actually has no significant value of. I don't know. I'm just a hater. You guys know.
But we love Crunchyroll in this house because of all the anime they provide us.
It's a good streaming service. We'll give it that.
Well, okay, hold on.
In my
opinion, it is
opinion,
a very adequate streaming service that could do us so many things better. But we still love it for the amount of stuff we can watch on it.
Just to finish, the discussion on the best main character category, it does not help that they have Momo and Okarun as both as nominees, because that split the fandom of Dandadan. If they didn't do that, it's possible they could have, at least, one of them could have won, I think.
That's
what do you
wishful
think?
thinking, and I wish it was the case, but
True.
Anyway, that's enough. No more talking about Solo Leveling. We were supposed to review Solo Leveling season 2 this very episode.
Actually, yeah, we were.
And
that would have been fun.
And
Mason said no.
No.
But let's just get through the rest of this discussion on the awards, because we have yet to talk about anything else other than Solo Leveling. Frieren ended up winning 4 awards for Best Director, Best Background Art, Best Drama, and Best Supporting Character. Fern. Thoughts?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I disagree on Fern. I do not think that she was all that great.
I guess I would want to see who the other supporting characters were.
Supporting characters were Jinshi from Apothecary Diaries, Senshi from Delicious in Dungeon, Himmel, also from Frieren, Seiko, so Granny Seiko from Dandadan, and Turbo Granny from Dandadan.
I feel like I'd either go Frieren or any of the Dungeon Meshi folks. It just doesn't feel like the Dungeon Meshi, like, it doesn't feel like there's as many, supporting characters. They're all kind of equally bracing and are the core foundation of that show. Like, even Fern, I mean, yeah, it's not called Fern Journey to, like, learn magic. Like, is a secondary character, but I don't know. It's supporting characters are always a wobbly mess of, like, how do you vote for him?
Yeah, I agree on that. Senshi definitely doesn't give supporting, considering it's a group cast, it feels like. Jinshi, I feel like it's more main than supporting.
He's just
but I mean, I wouldn't
wall that Mao
disagree.
Bounces off of. Mao does so much work in that show. She single-handedly.
She does.
She should have won Best Main Character.
Himmel is hardly in Frieren.
Yeah. He's so supportive. He doesn't even exist. He's from beyond the grave. He's carrying the team. Like, I wouldn't vote for Himmel.
I think I probably would have voted for Turbo Granny if I had at all participated in this.
She kind of just rubs me as comic relief most of the time, more than much like adult guidance or banter. Like, I don't know.
I feel like this discussion could have been the whole topic, I think,
It
today.
honestly could have, but yeah. What
Yeah,
else?
continuing. Don to Don won 3 awards: Best Character Design, Best Anime Song, and Best Opening Sequence. I'm not sure what the difference is between anime song and opening sequences, because they both won for the name.
I think it gives them.
Otonoke. That's the name of the song.
I think
They
it
both.
gives them room to put in like insert songs
Yeah.
that do some pretty crazy things, you know,
Yeah.
from like those idol shows or things like that. And then opening sequences, or it might just be the song versus the actual sequence itself as like animation and like in relation to the music and not just the music itself.
Oh, here's the details on Best Anime Song category. This category recognizes a vocalist, soloist, duo, group, collaborative recording, or instrumental played during any part of an anime series or movie film.
Yeah.
These are songs that get stuck in your head, make you want to sing along, or give you a rush of emotion. Whether they make you move or move you, these are the songs that stay with you. But yeah,
I
it
hate
looks like
Crunchyroll.
I'm not totally certain, but it looks like all, if not, or most, or nearly all of these songs are openings or EDs.
Yeah, because most common anime fans couldn't name any song besides the opening.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, just to shout out a few others: Best Romance went to Blue Box, Best Comedy went to Mashal, and Best Slice of Life went to Makene. So that's kind of my rundown of
Surprised.
Makaine,
Blue
forever
Box
in
won
the
Best
Venn
Romance.
diagram of romance, comedy, slice of life. Where do you put it?
Put what?
Makaine?
I haven't seen Makine.
I think it's more slice of life. I mean, it could work as romance
It could
too,
work
but
for
it's
any of
kind
them.
of more. It's kind of like the anti-romance. It feels like.
Yeah, but like it you can make an argument in any of those genres, and I think it works. I think it's a good show. I think it has a lot going for it. It's just hard to put it in a blue box.
And to be fair, most of the things nominated in the romance category are a little bit weird, right? So like Scott Pilgrim Takes Off is in there. It's not really a romance show. Ranma One Half isn't really a romance show either. The only ones I could assume are A Sign of Affection and The Dangers of My Heart Season 2 as well.
Mm.
So when you put in other things like that, I mean, Blue Box is going to win if you base on that definition. I would argue that Scott Pilgrim Takes Off probably should have won Best Romance, but it's obviously not
It's not
the romance that I think they were alluding to.
How did they vote for the best show in the romance category or the best show that exhibited romance? I was not a big fan of Dangers, but I would pick that by a country mile for its romance over any of the others.
So.
Yeah, and Dangers in My Heart is also in slice of life category.
There's no rules anymore. Anyway,
there aren't any.
It's
No.
all a trick to make us talk about Crunchyroll for way longer than they deserve. But for those who voted and like Soul Leveling, congrats, you have a feather in your cap.
Yeah, and that's only like a portion of the awards that they had. So if you want to look more into that, it's kind of interesting just to see what else was nominated. But once you have a system where people can vote daily and just spam the voting results, you have lost all credibility.
I mean, when you have Solo Leveling win 9 awards, that also is a sign. But yeah, you're right. You're right. Really quick for my big news of the week, I just wanted to mention we got an announcement that ReZero Season 4 is coming sometime in 2026, which is a pretty quick turnaround. Season 1 came out in 2016. 4 years later, we had Season 2. 4 years later, we had Season 3. And now just 2 years later, assuming it comes out on schedule, we're going to get Season 4. Have you guys been catching up with this? Are you up to date on your ReZero shenanigans? What do we think about this? Are we hyped?
I haven't seen Season 3 yet. And now I'm not totally sure if I'm going to, because as much as I did like Season 1 and Season 2, I don't remember what's happened. And yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about that.
That's fair. Andrew, any skin in the ReZero game?
No, I mean, I watched Season 1. I really enjoyed Season 1. I think I never got to Season 2 just because of timing at the when it came out. And I'm far behind. Maybe I'll catch up on it at some point. I'm surprised it actually made it to 4 seasons, to be honest. Because not a lot of shows tend to make it to the 4 seasons that aren't shonen shows. So that is a surprise. I'm happy for it. Maybe I will start watching it again because it reached such a a milestone. But yeah, I don't know. I'll probably have to start again from season 1. I might have to do the re-versions where they did like they condensed it down to 13 1-hour episodes with some like the Blu-ray footage or whatever. So maybe I'll just do that.
There we go. There's some ReZero love for you. And with that, we can go into our main topic, which is something that Caroline came up with. So you want to explain it to the good folks?
Yeah, so basically, we are planning vacations in anime worlds. And, just because there are so many variety in the anime settings that we get. So I wondered what would make the best vacation spot? What would you do? What would you eat? Who would you go see? That kind of thing. I actually had a little bit. It's a very simple idea to think about, but when I was trying to think of ideas to write down, I'm like, oh, remember this show. The location seemed pretty cool, but I don't remember the details of it. So how am I going to think of what am I going to specifically do there? But I did my best, and you guys probably did much better than me. So we'll see what we all came up with.
Yeah, I don't know how to go. I feel like if any of us actually watched all of One Piece, that would be just like an easy, oh, here are like the 5 best islands that I would go to kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of tough picking just
Stop stealing Shonen Showdown ideas, Mason.
Oh.
I don't know. I just that sounds like a great idea for Shonen Showdown if Emery and Raggedy are listening.
And it's hard because so many shows take place on Earth, so it feels like a waste to be like, I would go to Tokyo, Japan, where this happened. Like, okay, that's kind of lame. Or like a lot of the fantasy shows you want to go to, like Made in Abyss, you're like, that is not a place I would want to visit on vacation.
Yeah,
so
that was the first one I thought about. Like, that would be so cool, but I also don't want to die. So
yeah,
what do you do about that?
So I think first across the board, I think going anywhere, if you could just travel in style by traveling on Howl's Moving Castle, that would just be cool. Just instead of dealing with public transportation or flights or anything, just go across like the Australian outback in a massive castle. Like, that would be fun. That'd be cool. But who wants to go first? Who has a good example of a vacation itinerary?
I think my best itinerary comes from Naruto. So honestly, I feel like a lot of the big, long-running shonen shows, those are the best for vacation itineraries because they have so much in their worlds that they have built out because they're so long-running. If I had seen One Piece, you already said it, that would probably be a good example to go with. But in Naruto, I feel like a few days in the village hidden in the leaves would be very nice. I would go to Ichiraku Ramen, of course. Maybe the Dango shop. 'Cause I've never had Dango before. I don't even know what they taste like, but they always go there.
Have you had
The
mochi?
hot springs. Yes. Is it basically that?
It's the mochi outside. There's nothing in the inside. It's just the gooey mochi part. And then it's just like coated in like a syrup of some kind, depending on what kind of dango you get. It's just a texture thing.
Oh, okay.
But it looks
Still
very
a place
fun.
I would want to go to. The hot springs and visit the Mount Rushmore of Hokages. Because that's just what it makes me think of. And then also do a little outside the village traveling and go to the waterfall of the final battle in the show. That would be cool.
Nice. I know some of those locations. I didn't get far enough in Naruto, but it seems relaxing overall. Besides the...
Do you want to go?
Yeah, I can go next. So, the last place I thought of in my making vacation itineraries, and the reason I'm wearing this very adorable tank top, is Pokemon. Is there not a better place to go on vacation for? And there's so many different regions to choose from, and you could pick it based on what Pokemon you like the most, and this and that and the other. But I think at the end of the day, the most interesting one I would pick is the Hoenn region, which is from Ruby and Sapphire, and this is modeled based on Kyushu, the second smallest of Japan's 4 main islands. But despite being on the smaller side, it harbors a surprisingly wide and memorable assortment of geographical points of interest. You have large active volcanoes, which breed nice hot springs. You got these rich rainforests and dune-filled deserts. You got plenty of water, so much water, too much water, some might argue, and beautiful coastlines.
So much water.
So much water. You got safari zones.
Depends on
yeah.
which legendary is active, I guess.
That's fair. I was a Sapphire boy, so lots of water. Yeah, there's just a lot of variety to the Hoenn region. So if I tried to do like a 5-day itinerary kind of thing. So day 1, Hoenn region, flying in the north into Four Tree City. Not much to do there, but it's a city in the trees. Like, how cool is that? That's Ewok vibes all the way through. Then you go down the coast, or not the coast, but the river of 119, 118, those routes to get to Mauville City. You can get some banana growing tropiuses. You can get a shark. Like, how awesome on vacation if you just went home with a shark. Pretty neat, right? Not many other places can one up you. Then you hang out in Mauville.
Sorry, a shark or a sharpedo?
Yeah, it's Sharpedo, but it's a shark. It's a shark. Mauville City, bursting metropolis. You got the gym. You got the bike shops. There's 2 different bikes in this region. How awesome is that? You got the food court. Bikes. You got the game corner. You got all the combat-related stuff. You got Crooner's Cafe, a.k.a. Gooner's Cafe. So many things. Full day in Mauville City. Next day, day 4, Route 110 to Slateport. You got the seaside cycling track thing. It's a beautiful ride. Everyone loves it. And then you end your trip in Slateport City. You got abundant markets. You got lighthouses. You got the coast. And it's just a nice, relaxing end to the trip. So Pokemon, Hoenn region, 5 days, north to south, right through the gut of it. That's a good time.
You see, you did what I was thinking of in my mind, and I did not do that.
Because
so,
it's tough. It's tough to find a place that has enough of interest. But there you go. And you can pick up some Pokemon on the way, including a shark. What do you got, Friggy?
Yeah, so Frigitours presents a visit to the digital world. Yes, the Digimon digital world, because I guess I have to be specific for some of you all. All right, so what can you expect on a Digi World tour? Well, literally, it is the best option that you could do. Explore the multiple facets of the digital world. It's lush and varying digital landscapes, incorporating both futuristic and realistic landscapes. You see, streetcars on the middle of a lake. You see mountains that are sometimes all volcanoes, sometimes lead to frosted islands, sometimes lead to the sandiest of beaches, the most lush of forests. The temperature is always perfect in the digital world. Sometimes it does get a little bit hot, but that's only because you're in the volcano region. Our multiple vacation packages offers a variety of activities for all ages and all types. You want to ski, surf, snowboard, lay on the beach, trek through the woods, climb mountains, explore active volcanoes, find glacial icebergs. You want to go through a weird cave with all kinds of digital, magic lines going through it, and explore some ancient ruins that are maybe not so ancient. You can do it all and do them all at your leisure. And honestly, it is one of the easiest ways to travel. You don't like to drive, you don't like to be on a boat, you don't like to fly, which you could also technically do in the digital world as well if you were interested, skydiving, all that kind of fun stuff. Don't worry about it. It is the easiest mode of travel that you can come across. We will send you a Digivice per person going on this vacation, and all you need to do is open up your computer, and the Digivice will take you to your pre-programmed location. So, Friggy, you're wondering, you may saying, oh, Friggy, but what about all of these digital monsters that exist in this world? How are we going to protect yourself? Well, each Digivice comes equipped with one Digimon of its own to help protect you on your vacation. If you want to take care of it, you can take care of it and treat it as a pet, or you can just take it out if you need to protect yourself. But a lot of our areas can also be, programmed to your own liking. This ain't no VR world where you're lying in a bed and you're trapped there for so long and your body is slowly dying. No, you are turned into data and you are flung through. And don't worry, we got some of the best healthcare in the system. We can just reconstruct you. Boom. don't forget, such great locations exist in the world of the digital world. There's a place like File Island, a very nice beginner island. So much activities you can do there. It's so easy to do in a couple of days, just maybe a weekend vacation. Don't forget, you've got the Continental server if you're looking for a more week to 2 week long vacation that explores like maybe some desert areas. Want to travel the desert? Who knows right there. Maybe you're feeling a little bit moody and depressive and you really just want to exist in that space. There's the dark ocean. Ooh, lots of eldritch horrors live there. If you want to tickle your fancy in that particular way. All this and more on Friggy Tours Presents.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but that gave me big vibes of exploring is easy when you have a library card. You can go anywhere your imagination takes you. but
you literally can in the digital world.
Now, what do you say to the whole existence of like people who enter the datascape and are just reconfigured into data, like, and have moral quandaries of them not being the same person they were when they went in?
Well, then a Friggy Tours Presents tour to the digital world is not the tour for you.
There you go.
But I would say give it a chance nonetheless. You'd be surprised.
The price of just being able to snap your fingers and go wherever you want is a price that only your metaphysical deductions is the cost. Caroline, what else do you have?
I just figured out I'm not going to the Kelly Clarkson show.
Why? Because you're going to the DigiWorld instead?
No, because my friend so sorry to
this is a huge bummer.
Interrupt.
No, this is
yeah.
way more
So
important.
just a quick backstory. I'm visiting a friend tomorrow in New York City, and she got tickets to go to the Kelly Clarkson show through lottery. She found out that she actually got tickets for Tuesday, not tomorrow, and I have something to do on Tuesday, so I can't
to a Kelly Clarkson show.
So how are you going to
What's more important?
Drown your sorrows by vacationing where?
No, I'm more invested in what's more important than Kelly Clarkson. You said not mere moments ago in our Hobby Addicts that you had Tuesday off.
I have a haircut, and I spent so long getting this appointment, Mason.
Oh my, you're giving up Kelly Clarkson for a haircut.
Mason.
Yes?
I have had to reschedule this appointment multiple times. My dead ends are deadening. Deadening.
Just go outside.
I need to get a haircut.
Folks, this is the kind of content you can expect on a Hobby Addicts, not Hobby Addicts, an after party as well.
Fair.
All these exciting life moments that you just got a glimpse of in this episode.
I'm very upset at the moment. But if I could make myself feel better, I would go to the town in Kiki's delivery service because it's so cute and picturesque. It is just a beautiful place. It is the creators of Kiki's delivery service literally took the most beautiful towns they could see in Europe and mixed them all together and made this town in Kiki's delivery service. Not so many activities to do because it is quite the, it's relaxed, It's a little seaside town, so you can go to the beach, but I think just spending several days walking around it, just, getting some air, enjoying the bakery shop, maybe just ordering something from Kiki for fun. Maybe what was it that kid that Kiki is friends with? And she has to help him at the end. What did he do? He was like an aviation fan. Maybe there's something to do with that. Maybe if you bribe Kiki, she'll fly you around on her broomstick. Yeah, I think that would be a nice vacation.
Well,
Speaking of which, I'm going to figure out what else I'm going to do tomorrow because I need to figure this out.
Not a vacation of traveling all over a country. And I guess I'm going to glance at the chat and realize that I'm sharing a wavelength with BCom, who suggested this as well. But if you want a nice, relaxing town to stay in, don't stay in Kiki's Delivery Service where you have this bumbling witch just messing up all the orders and a blimp falling on you. Head instead, if you can survive another 300 years, to the world of Aria and Neo-Venezia, which is the perfect imitation of the city of Venice, both in architecture and atmosphere. It's a harbor city with narrow canals instead of streets, and you travel along by these unmotorized gondolas, piloted by these just beautiful folks singing the most gorgeous songs you ever did hear. And first of all, you're on Mars, which is badass. That's awesome. And you got 2 moons instead of a measly 1. That's double the moons in Kiki's Delivery Service.
2?
2.
Ooh.
2. Doesn't mess with
Damn.
the tides that much, but hey, that's how it be. Anyway, you go around and you can sample different gondola companies, whether it's the titular Aria, Himea, Orange Planet, and you can just experience all the beautiful architecture of the city, from the reconstruction of notable locations as the Piazza San Marco, the Bridge of Sighs. You can see just the gnarliest, goopiest, just chunkiest looking cats you've ever seen. You'll be like, what is that? And people will say, it's a cat. And you'll be like, I don't believe you. And they'll just say, this is how Mars cats are. I don't know what to tell you. It's all about soothing tranquility, multiple spas, fine dining for your leisure. Though, once again, the cats, they're a little goopy. And if you're into more getting out there, getting out and about, learning about something, which is, I know, lame, nerds, you can join a day trip to see the salamanders and the gnomes in the sky and ground respectively, to see how they actually manufacture the artificial gravity or just the elements that keep the planet running. So if you just want a chillaxing vacation, head to the world of Aria, head to Neo-Venezia, and you'll come back refreshed and renewed and rejuvenated. And that's really what we all want from a vacation, right? I think so.
Obviously. All right.
Obviously.
I mean, I have to workshop this next one. I didn't write it down, but I was kind of working it out.
We can
So, all right. Do you suffer from childhood trauma? Do you have high school trauma? Take a wonderful trip. Frigitours presents Afterlife. Oh my God, what's it? Not Angel Beats. Actually, it was Angel Beats.
Angel Beats.
The world of Angel Beats.
People in it.
they were all. Go and live your exciting high school fantasies from your old. Maybe you didn't have the best high school life. Go enjoy what high school life could have been had you taken more time to just do the craziest things you wanted to do, rebel in the silliest of ways, and maybe at the end of it, find some self-discovery and reincarnate yourself into a better person. Angel Beats.
Do you have to?
I didn't have much for that one, but I thought that was a funny concept.
To take this afterlife tour, the chat asks.
I mean, you don't have to. I mean, you kind of have to, but you can come back as yourself without actually the memories of that world death, but feeling like you've changed as a person. Maybe.
I think we could work. Vacations really have you just foregoing the person you currently are and re-existing in a different medium.
There's something to say about being a vacation. There's vacation versions of people and, home versions of people. And I'm kind of playing into that concept a little bit. So that's sort of where I'm at with the whole thing.
What better way to escape
on that note
and get away from yourself than by just not existing anymore?
Exactly.
On that note, I was actually thinking for a second to put Hozuki no Reitetsu's world on my list.
Yeah.
Because on that note, do you have to die to get down there? Possibly, but it seems like a pretty chill place. Like a lot of places to explore. I would think of it more as like a more fun educational trip. It's fun and educational at the same time. It would just be really interesting to see how people live after death.
Caroline, for the people who have no context to that show,
yes,
would you rather vacation in hell or heaven?
Was heaven depicted in that show?
Yeah, I think they went up there a couple times. That's where the Momotaru.
Well, it has been a while since I've watched Hozuki no Reitetsu. It's a recommended show.
Do you want to see the
I have not
goldfish?
seen season 2 yet, I don't think.
The giant singing goldfish that sway in the breeze, oh so CGI lusciously.
Yeah, that kind of rings a bell. I'm not sure what the context is behind that, though.
Yeah, I think he just has a garden of singing goldfish, as you do in Hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hell's pretty neat down there. What else you got, Caroline?
On kind of similar to that, Kino's journey. Just do as Kino does and go about the journey. Just travel on long roads with a motorcycle and visit unique countries with their own little gimmick. I think it would be so fun. However, I would be more choosy on the countries I visit than Kino. I would not go to a place that may not let me leave. But it would just be really interesting to see how different people live in this very structured world where every country is a gimmick of some sort.
Yeah. All right. I got one more for you guys, and this one I went all out on. Now, no one's gonna get any of what I'm saying, because not enough people have watched this show. But I'm pulling up on Twitch a map of this place, and this is the world of Aka 13. And
It's
as
a
you can clearly
crazy
see,
place.
the continent is in the shape of a bird, and it's very adorable. And in Aka 13, the country, the kingdom of Doa, that's the name of this whole like continent thing, is split up into 13 wards. And in the show, they bounce around from ward to ward. There's political subterfuge and all kind of stuff going on. It's such a cool show. It's so stylish. There's so much bread in it. Highly recommend. But when someone said, "Oh, make a vacation thing," this is the first thing I thought of. So here's my game plan, and you can use this handy dandy map as a reference. But what you do is day one, you fly into Badon, which is like the beak of the bird. It's like the big metropolitan city. That's where our main characters are situated. So I have like restaurant recommendations. You go to Pan for the donuts. You go to Picadade for their chocolates. You go to Mugi Maki for their flavored breads. And you go to Vert for a high-end dinner. Day two, you take the train all the way to the middle, kind of where the heart of the bird is, to Doa. And that's where the inhabitants of the ward are a fan of like cleanliness and beautiful things. So this is like the Paris of the world. You just go all over the place. There's the royal palaces. You eat their specialty walnut cake. It's just extravagant. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Next, my favorite of all the wards, it's Jumoku, just south of Doa. Essentially, the agricultural systems have just run rampant there, and all their foods are mega sized. We're talking like cartoonishly big. Like this is where if you had anime food in real life, that's where you'd go to just get the monster burger that you need to unhinge your jaw like a snake to eat. That's where I want to go. Next up, you go all the way down at the very, very bottom almost to the belly. That's Farawao. And this is like beautiful flowers, kind of Mediterranean feeling of sorts. It's gorgeous. You're going to spend a lot of time there. It's very wealthy, but it's got a lot of minerals. It's a good time. Finally, you go down to the bottom. There's like a island at the very bottom. It's like disconnected. You take a ferry over there. That's your like beach day. It's mild tropical climate. Everyone there is like cheerful, relaxing, restorative. That's the Aria-esque element of this trip. And then you fly out. So if you've never seen Aka 13, this will make no sense to you. But if you have, you'll realize that this is just the best vacation in all of anime, because it's not fancy, but it's cool. And that's all I got. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, don't worry about it. It's a tough topic, right? Because a lot of the shows we are watching or enjoying are usually slice of life or just like facsimiles placed on top of the real world that exists already, unless you're going to something like some of the more fantastical shonens like Naruto, or for the most part. Like, I would say it'd be great to visit like a colony in Gundam, but nah, it's not like I get to pilot a Gundam or a mobile suit or anything. So it's just like, some of those things do become difficult, especially for the shows I watch. I watch a lot of mecha. I watch a bunch of slice of life. maybe the Cowboy Bebop, see you tomorrow, what is it? See you Space Cowboy? Sorry, I thought there was more to it. See you Space Cowboy tour where you visit different like random places, but a lot of them are like seedy and underground and like messy, which is what makes the show really good. And so it makes it really hard.
In the shell, but like that's also like cool futuristic cyberpunk, but it's also like dystopian nightmare, and it's kind of grungy, and you're like, I'd
or even Edge Runners, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. So there's like cool places, not ones I want to visit. So
yeah, but it was still like a fun exercise, I'll say. Yeah, and I like how we all came at it with a different approach.
Yeah, I had one more. Sword Art Online. Friggy kind of alluded to it not being as good as a Digimon tour, but I think if it wasn't a death game, a nice little vacation in Aincrad would be pretty nice. As it is a video game, plenty of opportunities for fun and relaxing, like beating up monsters, wearing some fun swordsman cosplay and have it not be weird. You can explore the different towns. And I feel like this is the main thing here. You can eat whatever you want because the calories are virtual. You can just do whatever you want. And then wake up and go to sleep, eat some real food because you'll be starving, and enjoy the next day.
Yeah, you guys are disassociating too much in your vacations. But yeah, that could be fun. It'd be a vibe. As long as you don't get trapped there. Because everyone knows that vacation
that's the main thing.
Is the worst of it all.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's what I got.
I think that will do it for this wild and wacky main topic. Caroline, this was fun. Thank you for suggesting it.
You're welcome. Thank you for making it what it should have been, and I just kind of passed the buck a little bit. But
go ahead.
Here we go into the weekly trivia question. In the anime Sakamoto Days, what is the name of the organization that professional assassins belong to? We'll head into the news break and give you the answer after that.
Anime Addicts, the AAA podcast, is always trying to bring you new and exciting ways to enjoy our content, and now we have an exclusive member-only RSS feed on the site that is going to let you access our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and our after parties episodes, all from your favorite mobile apps. That's an additional 8 episodes of content per month just for you, and you can listen to it through Apple Podcast app, you can listen to it through Podcast Addicts, Pocket Cast, Overcast FM, Downcast FM, etc., onward and onward. So many mobile apps for you to choose from. If you were holding back on supporting the podcast because you didn't like listening to our extra content through our website, now you can get it and listen to it the same way you enjoy all your other podcasts. So pitch in, help out the podcast, do a good thing, and enjoy all the extra content we have for you. Just go to AAAPodcast.com/join and you will get all this extra content and an exclusive member RSS feed for you to enjoy. That's AAAPodcast.com/join and support the podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast following that non-existent news break because it was a pretty dead news week. Like the only other thing I found was like, Elden Ring game gets a live action film. Cool, I'll believe it when I see it. But we had a trivia question for you nonetheless. In the anime Sakamoto Days, what is the name of the organization that professional assassins belong to? The answer is the Japanese Association of Assassins, or the JAA.
Or
So-
Ja,
Ja.
if you will.
Ja. You know Ja rules. Neat. Awesome. Thank you. Cool. You know what else is cool? Awesome. Thank you, neat. Mailbags. And I did not get the drop ready, but you're going to hear it now. I had my computer on mute. Let's try this again. 3, 2, 1.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime. Anime. Anime.
Mailbag. Bag.
All right, and today's mailbag comes to us from MD Jabroni. And don't forget, you can submit mailbags at AAAPodcast.com. Just click on the mailbag button and submit. And we have mailbags for the main episodes and our hentai episodes, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe a few other things, but I don't remember everything off the top of my head. But yes, AAAPodcast.com. And click the mailbag button, and you can send us great questions like this one from MD Jabroni. Hey, AAA, Wave, I've been wondering, ... missing a dot, with the Moe Archangel off being a successful author, not Arthur, who is now the Moeist on the podcast. And Mason, you did not answer this question, so we're going to surprise you and make sure you answer it now.
Oh, I answered
on
the
air.
question, and I will. I just wanted you guys to go first because this is not the full part of his mailbag. I deleted his idea of who he thought the Moeist would be, so I don't want to influence anyone's decision.
And
Okay.
by Moe Archangel, are they referring to Chiaki?
Yeah.
Ah.
A throwback, yeah.
Yeah, throwback.
Personally, I think if we're talking about Moe as an innocence, I think it would be myself. But because I don't want to vote for myself in anything, and also because Moe could just mean as in positivity, I think Otaku Cop got that role.
Andrew, who'd you go with?
Oh yeah, it's obviously Otaku Cop. He is essentially Moe embodied on this podcast. His earnest joy at just everything, his earnest disappointment when things just don't go the way he hopes for. That lilt in his voice, the sigh, Otaku Cop is obviously the Moeist. That pure elation he just has.
Yeah, there's a lot of elements to the Moe Venn diagram, and I think we cover it in different hosts between Caroline, Andrew to some degree. I think Raggedy Doctor brings a lot of Moe into the world, but I think Otaku Cop, takes the case in some intangible way, and that is indeed who MD Jabrone was putting forth as his submission. So I think Otaku Cop wins it. You are, I guess, now the new Moe Archangel. Perhaps. I don't know. New
Does he
title.
get a crown?
We'll workshop it. But thank you.
I think only the Pope
mailbag
gets the crown.
and everything. Yeah. How cute he wears it. But we are moving on to our review of Sakamoto Days. This is a winter 2025 show. You can watch it on Netflix, and it tells the story of Taro Sakamoto. He once was this ultimate legendary assassin who fell in love and kind of left the organization, if you will. He now runs a store, like a 7-Eleven kind of thing. And he lives a simple life. But people, they don't like that he's doing that. And he has a big old bounty on his head, and thus people are out to kill him. It's done by TMS Entertainment. It's based on a manga. And Andrew, what were your expectations going into this review?
Yeah, I don't know if I was on the Impressions episode for it, but I know I watched a couple of episodes before the Impressions. I probably was on the Impressions episode. Either way, I watched a couple of episodes of it. I enjoyed what I saw. It felt very generic in a good way. And I figured, oh, maybe some more interesting things are going to happen. And so, yeah, I was only saddened that I had to watch it only because I already had watched all of Solo Leveling season 2. as it aired, and I was like, oh, no homework this weekend, this week for the
I'm
podcast.
sorry.
But honestly, when I started watching it, yeah, impressions wise, like the first couple of episodes, they went by pretty smoothly, and I enjoyed what I watched as far as impressions go.
Caroline.
I knew it was going to be, slice of life with a fun little gimmick, but I heard a lot of good things when it was announced. And as the show was airing, some people were falling out of love with it. So my expectations got measured at this point. I wasn't sure where I was going to land on it.
And for myself, I've read a bit of the manga of The World's Greatest Assassin rejuvenated as an everyday store clerk, and it's pretty fun. It's not my typical fare. It's mostly about the paneling and the action and just how things are done on like a mechanical standpoint, how the manga conveys action and impact, which it does extremely well, but not much else. So I was pretty mixed coming in. I thought it had potential to be fun, but I also, similar to Caroline, but maybe even earlier on, I heard a lot of people being kind of irked by the animation and how it visually looked, and I don't know, I failed it during impressions. I didn't think it did enough to sell me, but I believed, in a full run it could turn itself around and be something worth watching. So that said, would we, spoiler free, recommend Sakamoto Days to the people who have not seen it yet? Andrew, what do you say?
Yeah, totally. I think. Well, okay, so there's like a couple of answers to this. If you read the manga, you probably aren't going to have as much of a good time with this. I don't think it does anything probably different from the manga. I haven't read the manga. If you haven't read the manga, I would say watch it. For me, it's a fun classic shonen comedy, in the sense that that doesn't rely too heavily on ecchi moments to be funny for the most part. I think that we get a lot of characters that have quirks, but at the same time are oddly grounded at the same time. That makes for a very layered show, more so than I was expecting. And to be honest, when I realized it was TMS Entertainment, basically the jobber studios, one of the most jobber studios you're going to come across in the anime industry, I'm not surprised. I think a lot of the problems come from, and I think the same problem happened with Chainsaw Man as well. I think that there's something that you can do in 2D and not animation, in manga form, that doesn't always translate well to motion. And unless you're going with like a top tier studio willing to put in that kind of work, otherwise you're going to come up with stuff like this. And if this is just an excuse to read the manga, then I think that's not terrible as well. But yeah, I would recommend it if you haven't seen the show and you like good old fun classic shonen comedies. Like, yeah, that.
Caroline?
I thought it was fun for a couple of episodes. I liked Shin and his ability. It is gimmicky, but I actually thought it was kind of cool more than I thought I would, like in the different ways they were using it. After a while, I thought that Sakamoto Days just became, haven't you heard, I'm Sakamoto, but Sakamoto's a retired hitman, and just defeats the other hitmen flawlessly. It really is Sakamoto in haven't you heard, I'm Sakamoto. It is just that. After a few episodes, I did not really find it to be all that entertaining. The characters, apart from Shin and sometimes Sakamoto and those guys, I just thought they were not that great. And I just don't know if most people will be all that gripped by this show for 11 episodes. And I believe there is more coming, so I don't know if it's that recommendable, unfortunately, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm also, to no one's surprise, be a bit of a hater here. Like, there is a universe where Sakamoto Days is a success for me. It has its fusion of Spy Family, One Punch Man, JoJo, and just blends it all together to a really fun, enriching, wild assassin hijinks show. But that's not the version we got. And really, besides the basic shonen services that Friggy alluded to, the show really isn't giving me much. The gags aren't amusing. The pacing is all over the place. The writing is underwhelming. The directing is stiff. And the writing, I just really can't express how bad it is. It is some of the worst I've experienced for such a hyped product. And I feel like this show is being in the sensory deprivation tank for 20 minutes. It's just eating iceberg lettuce. It's just not giving me any nutrients. There's no funny, witty lines. It's all so bland. I mean, Caroline brought up the, haven't you heard I'm Sakamoto? At least in that show, the person, you know they're going to win, but they're in crazy, zany situations, and the way that they get out of them is always something new and refreshing. Here, it's Sakamoto, oh, he's looking down the barrel of a gun. He's going to move really fast, though, and win. Or he's in a knife fight with someone, and he's going to move really fast, and he's going to win. Or he's in a, I don't know, some the gambling game. Oh, he's going to move really fast. He's going to win. Like, it's so samey in where they think the gags are coming from. And it tries to marry this violent action with comedic hilarity, but it just comes off as stumbling and silly. And in a word, bland. In about 34 words, the textbook definition of a just below average show. It's not offensively bad, but even being generous, anything I would give the show praise to, it's been done better by other anime, and it's just forgettable. Maybe part of it is just I've read some of the manga, and I realized that that's just the superior version of the story, but I got nothing out of this show. It was so lackluster, and unfortunately, I can't recommend it to anybody. Unless, like Fridgie said, you really just are jonesing for a simple, fun shonen show. But that's not what I'm about. So we're going to get into the details. We're going to try to really feel out why I feel the way I do. And hopefully, give the show some more love than what I just said. But here is your spoiler warning.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god!
And we're going to get into the nitty gritty. Obviously, we've only seen Season 1, Season 2, this kind of split core thing isn't out yet. It will be coming out shortly. So we can't, talk too much about that besides projection. But where do you guys want to start? What would you like about this show?
I laughed a couple times.
A couple times? Was it the pizza assassin? Was that funny? Was it
I don't know. I can't really remember what exactly the joke was.
Dinosaur costume?
All right. Okay. You know what? You guys are being so salty. I'm just going to have to put you guys in your place to some extent here.
So
I think, Mason, you come from if it's not esoteric or weird background, it's not doing anything interesting. And that's why you were always never going to like the show. And Caroline, I feel like you just come from a place that you're so new to watching anime in some way, shape, or form that you just don't appreciate to some extent.
I have been watching anime for now 10 years.
Okay, I've been watching anime for.
New to it?
I've been watching it for 32.
Okay, I'm not.
That's new to me.
I'm not even 32 years old. You
Hey,
can't
you know what?
blame me for that. You're just old.
I am. And if you've only been watching anime for the last 10 years, you're still new to watching anime, in my opinion. You're still new to watching anime, in my opinion. That's it. You got to get in on that ground floor.
It's a classic.
If
you've seen under
I don't think
anime, you're a noob scrub. If you've seen over 1,000 anime, you've seen too much. You're old hat. There's no.
Hell yeah. No, I totally agree with that. Simple as that. But I think that's why you're so disappointed. No, but I think that's why you're very disappointed in the show, Mason, for the most part. I think if you begrudgingly chose this, I think you would have honestly, if you had stuck with Solo Leveling, I think you would have had pretty much agreement with everybody here, which I guess makes for a less interesting podcast to some extent. But I think you would have had more agreement with people here on that show and what its failures are, which probably don't align with, as we know from the Crunchyroll Awards, the people's general alignment. But as for Sakamoto Days, there's a lot of gags. I think that. Can I remember all of them? No, but I remember chuckling through most of the show for the most part. I mean, I was talking to Bcom earlier, and he's just like, "What the hell is this?" And it's a scene of Sakamoto finding a T-Rex exhibit from the museum during the lab arc, and that's just ridiculous on such a level that I think it's kind of fun and funny. And the way he's just like, I want that for my daughter, and we're gonna take it alive, and then he's just like, nope, this is too dangerous, we're gonna destroy it, and then he destroys it, which is also ridiculous as well. But yeah, anyway, I also will refute the whole like they're just one-dimensional characters, but
Oh my goodness.
what did
These
you
were
guys
the-
actually
the
like about the show?
You know, elaborate on
tropiest
that.
characters I've ever encountered. Every backstory, every sob story was things we've seen 1,000 times with the most
And on top of
lamest,
that-
crummy hitmen villains.
Every character that they described as being Chinese, so we got Lu and we got Wu Tong or whatever his name is. It is just like their character designs. Like she has like the little hair bun thing, Chinese. He's a similar way. She makes the pork buns and she knows kung fu. This like you can't get more tropey than that.
No, here's how you get tropier, Caroline. Let's have the token woman on the team. Let's just have we need women. We just need not a woman character, just we need girl. We just need girl. Okay, what is she gonna do? She's just gonna be constantly in need of rescue. Okay, how can we go even lower? Let's have her be a literal cheerleader. Let's have her actually in a cheerleading costume while the men go out and do things just because she's that just tokenly subjugated to being a nothing burger. Like Heisuke was dumb, Shin was just flat. Like I didn't like anyone. There was nothing. There was no depth to anyone. There was no line. There was no dialogue. Nothing resonated with me. Friggy is so upset with me that he's muted himself, so he can't.
Wait a minute.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like
Mason, are you saying that Pisuke did not tug at your heart strings? That
No.
little bird?
I thought we were free from him because we had his episode, and then we were like, okay, we moved on. Nope, he's back on the team. Everyone.
Did you not watch the opening, Mason?
Oh, I knew. Oh, the opening and ending were probably some of the lamest I've ever seen. The songs were bad. The visuals were bad. Oh,
I will say the first, like the first part of the opening, I thought was cool with the letters.
when they were just spelling out Sakamoto, wow.
Yeah, but it was just in the
Wow.
different. It was in the different perspectives. I thought it was cool. But yeah.
You guys are ridiculous.
I
Okay,
followed
no,
this show
Fridgy,
knowing I
I'm
wasn't gonna
sorry.
like it.
Do tell us your thoughts on these characters and how they are not at all tropey.
Did you?
I didn't say they weren't tropey. I think that they combine a trope with some backstory that gives them some layer, right? So Sakamoto is the ultimate assassin who is basically has a soft spot for his family and his daughter. He has the fun old. I'm a dad. My wife basically runs the household, and I want to make sure my daughter has basically everything in the world. But I'm also very deadly, and I'm not allowed to kill anybody. I think that works as a multi-layered character. Shin is somebody who can read people's minds and is also a fanboy to Sakamoto, but at the same time, his abilities aren't broken all the time. And he got the abilities maybe in the dumbest way, but he ultimately did care what people thought about him, and that's why he ran off in the first place. Lu is one of the weaker characters, but she suffers from multiple different problematic tropes, being a foreigner in Japan and being a woman in Japan, but also is technically stronger than Shin in terms of physical prowess. They give her the drunken master style on top of that, and technically she could be the leader of a mafia if she wanted to, but she chooses to have a more quiet life after going at her whole arc being about seeking revenge for the death of her family. And I know they put that on the back burner as how much it affects her as well. And then let's see, Heisuke is the sniper who was always told that he was garbage and is just looking for that validation, but he's actually a pretty top tier sniper. And when he gets that little bit of validation, he would be the type of person to glom on to the people who have actually shown him that kind of thing. These are all things that we learn about in their episodes. And then when they're not being focused on, they do get reduced to their tropes because they're focusing on other parts of the world. Anyway.
You described what the
Heisuke for a
characters are,
second.
but that's not actual good writing. I can make up a character. Oh, he has blue hair. He's next door neighbors to the president, and his half sister's Japanese, and he loves Pokemon. I just told you 4 things about a random character. That doesn't give them any depth or meaning or personality. Everything was just so trite and just. It was in the manga. The writing is not any better, but it is there to fit cool action scenes, which this dropped the ball on, both visually and in the positioning and directing. It just was a mess. It was a cluster. There were so many cool scenes that I would be emotionless for in the show and go back and see that scene in the manga and be like, yes, that's how they were supposed to do it. and I can see the through lines, but they executed it so poorly. So when you miss the one thing the manga had going for it, what else am I supposed to enjoy about this show? I don't know.
Well, you're not supposed to enjoy this show.
I'm not.
You specifically, because this is not the show you would watch willingly.
No doubt. But like, tell me you actually genuinely enjoed the bathhouse episode or the gambling episode.
That was so stupid. It was so stupid. I loved it.
That was a waste of time. That was not funny. It was not violent. It didn't make me think. It wasn't high stakes. It was. I didn't care about the villain, the main characters. It was just the show existed and it was on. And if I was just watching a dub while I was eating my dinner, fine. I'm sure that's a fine show just to relax you. But really, digging down to it in the way that I do, it's like you said, Andrew, this is not a Mason show, and it never was.
Can get behind some silly comedy, but as Mason has so eloquently described, I need more than a bunch of dum-dums. Like, a lot of them are just dum-dums. Heisuke's a dum-dum, Lou's a dum-dum, Shin can be a dum-dum. Sakamoto isn't a dum-dum but doesn't talk at all. So that's the main reason of his mind reading abilities, because they want Sakamoto to be the cool brooding type without having to talk, but he's also the main character, so they don't want to make him too boring, so they have him talk in his mind, but he's still putting up the front of being like the cool type who doesn't want to talk. So that's the main reason why they have this mind reading ability in there. Yeah. So you got those dum-dums, you got every hitman being a dum-dum in some way, shape, or form. And why are there so many hitman in Japan? Who are they hitting on? Like, who are the people that just keep on buying these assassins? How much money do they have to spend on killing people in Japan?
My funniest part is when they announce that the bounty is out on Sakamoto. And they're like, oh, it goes out tomorrow, but the best of the best are already going to be at your doorstep. And then, like, just the schlubs are like, I can kill him, and it get thwarted in seconds. And I also, speaking of dum-dums, all the NPCs in the show, everyone who is just on a roller coaster or driving along, and just these crazy things
in
are
the
happening
bathhouse
around them, and they're just like not reacting to it in any way. Like, I'm not looking for that level, but it's just too, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a kind of, I'm blanking on this kind of loose and just silly comedy that just never resonates well with me. I don't know. I'm just a hater.
No, it's fine. I get it. I hate on all your esoteric shows for similar reasons. I think if it's presented in a particular way, I think you love Sakamoto.
Yeah, I think there's the potential.
I think that's all it is. It's just presentation for you in this particular case.
Episode 3, they're at the theme park, and his Sakamoto's daughter Hana is like going on rides and stuff, and there's that like janitor hitman who's coming after them, and there's a pretty funny scene where like they're walking around and Sakamoto like stabs a guy in the stomach. He doesn't die, same with the people exploding off motorcycles, but they don't die, and they like whisk him away in the cart, and it's fine. In the manga, when they show that shot of Sakamoto like brutally and ruthlessly like stabbing this dude through the chest, it's phrased with the camera like on the ground, and Hana is in the shot, like his daughter is like 2 steps in front of him, and here he is like mercilessly taking down people right behind her back. Like, that's his swagger, and like hiding his 2 faces in one panel. Here instead, Lou like is like, oh Hana, what's over here? So she's completely absent in that shot, that like killing blow. And really, that's the fundamental mistakes that this show has, is it removes where that disconnect and like purposeful shifting of comedy and violence like goes hand in hand, and they kind of try to purely separate those things, which makes scenes that are supposed to be comedic just come off as blandly non-violent, and these violent scenes come off as blandly comedic. It like separates them and gets lost in the sauce. So it's my best way of trying to describe why it works in the manga and not in the show, besides it just kind of generally looking not that great. I don't know.
So why did you pick this show, Mason?
I didn't.
For today's review.
This
for today's review.
Why did I do it for this review? Because it wasn't Solo Leveling Season 2.
Well, I mean, there was other shows we could have picked that you might have enjoyed more.
This was the most popular show of the season.
No, it wasn't.
It was like one of the most popular shows of winter.
Yeah, that I
2025.
get. But you didn't have to review this.
I'm
Like
on the next like 7 episodes here. I gotta pick something, and I'm not gonna watch My Happy Marriage season 2, and I'm not watching Solo Leveling season 2. So what else am I gonna watch?
I don't know. There's could have been something, I bet.
So Solo
I'm just
Leveling
curious,
season 2
'cause
was
I
Not
mean, like,
that
I-
he couldn't avoid it anyway in the next several
Sakamoto
weeks.
Days is second most popular.
Second most popular. I guess so. Oh.
I did find the daydreams of Sakamoto killing Shin to be funny. Like that's where my chuckles came from. Is like in the different ways that he would just brutally murder him if he did anything wrong.
And that was
Yeah,
fine
so I
like the
like that.
first or second time, but like 9 times in, and I'm like, okay, like we just need an excuse to have violent. Like I get that the show doesn't have ecchi, and I'm all for that. Yay, Yahoo! It doesn't need it. I mean, it does have a little bit with that one character, but it's not.
Yeah,
too
that
bad.
one hit woman.
But just like needless violence is like not like for a gag. Was it much better? Was it as funny as them saying, haha, you're so fat, oh come over here tubby, oh that blubbery dude? Like, okay, we get it. Like, I don't know, it just felt repetitive in the few jokes it did go back to the bucket for. And I'm hating on the show. I'm not gonna give it like the worst score ever. Like, it's still fine. Like, you can follow along. There are some generally like nice moments. Like maybe season 2 gets a little bit better when we actually have decent villains to contend with. Like I'm presenting it like this is the trashiest show ever, and it's not. It's just I found it incredibly reductive and middling.
Yeah.
Any good things? I'll keep my mouth shut. I won't say anything bad.
I do think
No.
there was like potential here for me to really like this group that they're acquiring, because one after another, like you get, and we're adding more to the Sakamoto crew of ex-criminals. But if there was just like something more to these characters, I think I would actually really like it, because like Heisuke's addition would be really cool if he wasn't so dumb. And like now they have this this smart guy from Lou's gang joining the fray, so maybe that will shake things up a little bit in the different ways that they encounter hitmen and all that stuff. It's just the characters themselves, I don't really like them. Heisuke is so strange because why does he get like a little target on his cheek? You know, I feel like
All the
snipers are supposed to
character
blend
designs
in.
had like some sort of face paint on it.
Yeah.
Just because, I don't know, because.
Yeah. And in what world would so in what world would there be a hitman agency, for one thing? For a second thing, in what world would they completely deny work to a master sniper? That is assassination 101 sniping. You're not going to give this guy any jobs because he can't do anything else but snipe. That's a literal job in the army, is to be a sniper and do nothing else. So
Japan doesn't have an army, right?
that doesn't matter. Is just to say that Heisuke has potential to do work in this world where there are hitmen or agencies. And the fact that his whole backstory is that he wasn't given any work because his only specialty is sniping is crazy. But that's not the only crazy thing in this show, because once you have a villain made of weapons with patchwork skin and wearing a deer head mask all in one, you have just gone too far in the silliness. I know it's a silly show, but that is way too silly.
Yeah, I mean, the second Shin can mind read and Taro can like lose 200 pounds, like, yeah, it's supposed to be a whatever show. Like, that fun stuff didn't like ruin it for me.
But that villain did for me. I don't, and that one guy that just kept on licking everything. I hate characters that lick their lips and whatever. That guy, it makes me want to vomit.
Do we think season 2, or I should say the second part of season 1, will be better? Like, are we optimistic with where the show is headed?
Personally, I think it's going to be more of the same.
But
Yeah, it's gonna be more of the same.
pushes
I'm actually
things
looking
into
forward to
little
it.
balls now. Isn't
Yeah,
that so amazing?
Yeah, actually, it's pretty crazy.
I mean, I did think it was an interesting question of how you could feasibly crush a whole person into a little ball. That was kind of metal, but
That's pretty brutal.
Show's going
not
to be
enough
more of the
to make
same in the
me.
second core, and I think that's actually usually a good sign. But then again, the second core is probably conceived as a continuation of the first core anyway, and I don't expect there to be like a because of how it is. I'm pretty sure that's just how the more recent anime processing and creation is. It's not like there's gonna be a giant boost in the animation, given how close it was. I don't think there's gonna be I don't think there's gonna be a much greater change to the story unless the story in the manga does some kind of big crazy swings. Yeah, I think it's gonna be more of the same, and I've enjoyed what we've gotten so far. So it makes for I'll probably enjoy it. Like I went into this thinking, oh, I think I'll have fun with the show, and then I had fun with the show. I didn't go in with any major expectations. I heard people said they weren't really loving it, and like I said, I liken that back to when Chainsaw Man, where people were hyping the shit out of Chainsaw Man because it looks so good in the manga, and then the anime just did a fraction of that. And I thought it was still a good show, but people were just like, I think, overly hard on it because it just wasn't doing the manga, which I think, unless you're expecting, Production IG or Trigger or Studio Kara to be doing like some crazy animation on it, I don't think you're usually going to get some of these more stylized manga unless they have like a very specific aesthetic going for it.
One more thing I wanted to talk about on my list here. So 3 times over the course of these 11 episodes does Sakamoto or Shin twist an enemy's neck. Now, most of the time when you show a character twisting the neck of somebody else, that is a death blow. I'm not sure of many people who come back from a twisted neck, especially when they do it so fluently. They're like, yeah. So, are you telling me that all 3 of them survived that in order to avoid their no-kill rule? And if so, did they know how to twist somebody's neck specifically avoiding to kill them because that is their most important thing in their lives is avoiding killing anybody?
I think
Because when I first saw that, I'm like, oh shit, they just killed that guy.
I think a lot of people died. I don't know if it was all the neck twisting, but there's some big old boo-boos.
Yeah, like
Nah,
a
they all
motorcycle of
survived.
people blew up.
You can survive a motorcycle explosion.
Yeah, you could. But just,
They did. So clearly.
I don't know. It's just, they leave a lot of things up for chance here with how important their no-kill rule is.
I'm gonna say based on because they have a no-kill rule and how deeply they respect it and how deeply they don't want to piss off Sakamoto's wife. I think that they're stopping just enough to not kill, and so it's just like a really intense hit. And to be fair, you say that, but like you've seen chiropractors do that shit to animals, like where they
Yeah,
just
but
go.
these are not chiropractors.
Okay. Yeah, they're not chiropractors.
And
That's
also,
totally the
chiropractors are doing it
argument.
very gently and very calculatingly. These guys literally twisted their neck
Yes.
off.
Any
Totally.
other thoughts? Or are we ready to score this thing?
I'm ready.
Yep.
I'll go first because I think I'll be the most negative, and then we can work. Yeah, no surprise. I really didn't enjoy any of the episodes here. I think it's very middling. I understand this is a haha funny shonen show with a blubbery, overpowered main character. Comedy is subjective. If you got a chuckle here, all the power to you. This is just not a Mason type of show, and I didn't get much enjoyment as a Mason out of it. I just felt like it carried very little weight. I thought across the board the production was weak, and the writing was abysmal. I'm giving it 2 portly meat buns out of 5.
I'll go next because I'm the next most negative. It might have only been 11 episodes, but I was waiting for this show to end, unfortunately. It was unfortunately a little bit of a slog. Not terrible, definitely not the worst that anime has to offer here. I just wasn't feeling it. There were a couple moments that I enjoyed, but they were just in between episodes of just filler, it felt like. Nothing all that entertaining, nothing all that groundbreaking. So with that, I am going, and also the writing, as Mason said, just not good. When you get Lou saying, "And what makes different bad? What's so bad about being different?" Saying that to the big villain that has killed multiple people. I'm like, Lou, shut the frick up. Yeah, it's just not that great. I will give this show 2.5 Sakamotos turning skinny in 0.7 seconds out of 5.
Perfect. Yeah, I give the show 3.5 of 3.5 main characters with weird quirks out of 5. I think the show is a pretty standard action comedy shonen show, and I think it does it pretty well. I think if you liked things like Gintama, you'll probably enjoy Sakamoto. If you liked things from like probably the early 2000s, mid 2000s, like that sort of years of anime, where you get a lot of those like kind of comedy shows with like sort of a shonen bent. I think you'll enjoy a lot of the like slapstick comedy that's in Sakamoto. Is it doing anything wholly original? No, but I mean, what really is these days, to be honest? I think it's just maybe it definitely could have used some better presentation. And I think that probably would have upped my score, but I don't even think so. I think it gave what it wanted to give, and it gave it pretty decently, and I don't fault it for that. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5.
Very nice. I don't think we had any bets on our Discord for our show because no one knew what we were reviewing, but there we go. There you have it. We got some positive, we got some negative. It's how we do it here sometimes. Sorry for being all gloomy, but hey, that was another episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Once again, head on over to AAAPodcast.com, fill out the listener choice for spring 2025, fill out the Family Feud if you would so like. It's a bunch of fun. Join the Discord.
Please do.
We always got things going on. Anime clubs, watch parties, just random discussions about who knows what. If you're mad about Crunchyroll, if you really like Crunchyroll, put it in there. People love to hear it. Next week, we're still not doing Solo Leveling Season 2. I'm sorry. I'm not going to watch it. But I'm going to watch 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You Season 2. And it'll be a fun time, I hope. We'll see.
So,
any closing comments, Caroline? Andrew?
yeah, another shout out for Anime Club on our Discord. It's open to everybody. We meet every other Wednesday at 9 p.m. ET, though we are considering changing the day and time. We have not done that yet, but it's in consideration. But for now, Wednesdays, 9 p.m. ET. Next club is June 4th, and we'll be discussing the first 13 episodes of Ouran High School Host Club, which I am rewatching, and I have to say, it's
Legendary.
still good. It's still so fun. So join us, please. It's going to be a good time.
All right, that'll do it. Thank you for sticking with us. I hope you have a fantastic week, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.